Hello, welcome back to the channel, guys. Definitely appreciate the support. We're going to get into another passing concept, and this one is called sucker, and it's run by on a three receiver side or a three offensive threat side, and that would be what we have right here. Okay, so you guys know the ordeal for this is how I organize defenses. 0-3-1. Right? This is the single high side. This is the double high side, right? And this particular concept, if you just look at this concept, I think it's good for you to think about it first. What do you think out of these coverages do you think it would be pretty efficient against? All right, and thinking on it and actually putting it in diagram and going through the rules of a particular coverage, this is really designed to attack a cover two style defense like Tampa 2. All right, so I want to show you, let's just get into the benefits of this. And the thing is, so I'm in the Washington Commanders playbook. I already went over line from this particular formation. I believe by now I should have went over my what I shift from Y off trips. Should have went over a couple of plays in that formation by now, right? So I want to add something, because what I've noticed is when I shift from Y off trips to this gun empty set, a lot of times people I like to shift when they're in, I could tell that they're in some type of cover zero. And I notice when I shift to that empty set that they will audible out of cover zero into a cover two style defense. It's kind of like a lot of people's base when they get that surprise shift to empty. All right, and this is a situation where, okay, well, it's probably pretty good to have something designed to attack cover two pretty well. And this is where you can get into this sucker concept. All right, so ideally what we're doing, if you think about the rules of the cover two defense, right? So cover two is a split field coverage defense. So you draw a line down the center of the offense. And we could essentially run a middle of the field open defense on this side, and we could run something different on this side, because both of these sides of the defenses are independent of each other if you run a true split field coverage on both sides. But, we're running a full field concept cover two, where we're running cover two on this side and cover two on this side, right? But the idea is your pole runner, right, your middle backer, he's going to relate to the number 3. And the idea is this upfield route is supposed to get him out of the picture. He's going to relate to that and run up the field. The deep half safety has to play with depth, right? And then we are getting a high-low on the second defender in, right? So, as you can see, nothing has changed. We're putting defenders in a conflict. And the idea is with him out of the picture up the field relating to the number 3, we create a big hole in the field to attack with this deep dig pattern. Now, if the second defender in gets in the window of this, then we throw the curl underneath. It's a very simple play, right? Now, if he drives on the curl, then this will be wide open. So I'll show you an example in game. And as we see here, the number 3 is running this guy out of there, right? So then we're really looking to attack the center of the field, vacate it from that pole runner, right? But in the game, the second defender in will almost always hang in the area to throw this dig pattern, which leaves this guy wide open every single time, right? So you can throw that every single time. So I get back to, I'm running my glance post that I spoke of in an earlier video. And in this instance, I'm like, I'm going to shift to my line concept here. And as you can see, the pre-snap read is cover 2, right? So I could have checked to that sucker concept. They call it dig curl read from this particular formation. But I decided to stay in this particular play, the line concept. You guys know what this concept is all about. In this particular play, we're running the line concept on this side of the field. We're just attacking the second defender in, all right? If he plays underneath the first slant, then we're throwing the backside slant. If we are able to cross the face with this one step now slant, then we just rip that in there, because the 3 receiver hook player is relating to the number 3 and we have an open window here. So that's the read here against double field, right? Gets across his face. We get a very nice game. All right, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. I've noticed when I run the scheme that I've been playing with this season, okay? And in this game, I drove up the field with this particular concept and some other concepts from this formation. So he essentially, you know what, I'm going to blitz the hell out of this because he didn't know what to do against it. So when I see a heavy type blitz pressure, this is where I will shift. Okay, so he actually audibled into cover 2 pre. So I wonder why. Oh, I see why I still shifted. I didn't like this particular front, right? So I'm still going to shift into that 5-out set. And this is where I'm like, you know what? I could run the sucker concept because I know it's some type of cover 2, right? Outside leverage, 2 deep safeties. Very simple concept, right? And look, we're getting that pole runner up the field. So we're looking inside and we see the vertical hook is staying in the window of the dig. So we know that this curl is wide open. But I'm going to miss a wide open receiver on this play, which could have been a touchdown. So I'll rewind so you can see it. And you're going to see it on this side of the field. And this is what I wanted to throw this video in. You know, so the sucker concept is very simple. Very simple, but to me, it's specifically really good against Tampa 2. I don't like it against any other coverage. And usually I'm not a fan of a concept that's really only good against one specific type of coverage because you can run into problems with that. However, there are instances where I think things like this are good to have in your toolbox, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But you know, the concept with this play, we're running that concept on this side of the field, but we're running a cover 2 beater on this side of the field. So this entire play is really, looking at it, it's designed to shred cover 2. Now, if you look at this side of the field, you should see why this should be good against a cover 2 zone type play. And that's because we're getting a high-low over here on the corner. He's running a post corner, and we're running like a whip route to the outside. So we're just going to high-low the corner. And in this particular play, I believe the outside corner drove on this underneath whip route, which left the window to throw this corner wide open. So we'll see it here. You see how he's going to drive on this? He's going to turn on this corner, and his safety has no chance to defend that being too far inside. And that's where we get in the world of cover 2 beaters, right? Because there are situations to where there's a high likelihood that your opponent is going to run something like cover 2 or something like cover 3, and you really need to reach in that bag and grab something that's really proficient at attacking it and very good against it. And this is where you may come up with a play like we have with Dick Crow Reed, where we're running sucker on one side, which is really good against Tampa 2, and then on the back side we're running another cover 2 concept. Okay, and where you can get a lot of cover 2, what I've noticed in game against opponents, is in this fringe area of the field, right? About maybe 35, 40 yards in to the end zone. Guys like to get into cover 2 a little bit more, and that's where it's probably good to have specific cover 2 beating plays, right? So I don't know what I was showing here. Let's see what I have here. Okay, I was showing the same play, right? Where this is just wide open on the front side, on the back side. So there are instances, I believe I showed a clip in a previous video where Peyton Manning was in the red zone. I think he was like on the 15, Broncos against the Raiders, and they ran a cover 2 beating play to Wes Welker on a backside post, right? And that's an instance to where, hey, we know we're going to get a lot of cover 2 here, so why don't we call a cover 2 beating play? Now, the thing I don't like about plays like this is, you know, they're not necessarily, I don't like pulling out a play that's excellent against one specific coverage, but not very great against a lot of other coverages. So, you know, when I ran this play, I'm like, well, you know what? Let me see how it does against cover four, like cover four match. And here's the problem with men. So before I run the play, I always think about the rules of a coverage. So in cover four, what you should get the bubble here, and you should get the bubble here, where he's reading 1 to 2, he's reading 2 to 1. This is your match 2 out player, and we get the same ordeal over here. And what that means is this guy is forced to match 3 vertical, right? So when I ran this play, I'm not going to show you that part because I started implementing this, and I'll show you why. But when I ran the play, I noticed that when he ran up the field, attacking the middle of the field, he would not match it. He would carry and deliver him to the safety. Okay, and essentially what would happen is he would stay underneath on that curl, and I believe he would match the dig inside. So that's how Madden has it coded. But what I was thinking is, it's just the way I think about the rules is when you have something like this drawn up, I would imagine that that dig pattern should get doubled. He should hang on this, and then we should get our one-on-one here. So that's one thing I don't like about Madden. They kind of bend the rules a little bit. Because, in a play like that, against quarters, I would like it because I would get one-on-one against the 3 up the field with no help, right? Because we got this post corner on the back side, right? So if we think about it, if he was aligned outside and he ran the post and then to the corner, we should get a potential double here. The safety would be on that dig. And then you're just one-on-one up the field, right? But in Madden, it doesn't work that way. The safety kind of hinges over and plays over that, and he plays the dig. So what I notice is, well, what you can do is you can motion him into a stack set, which widens the safety over here. And now the safety is way out of position. He's playing with outside leverage to an inside breaking route, and the safety is tied in on the concept over here. But the window is still too tight for me, right? So, I mean, that's NFL wide open right there. So, if you lead him with the passing, I forgot what they call it, you can get a big play there. But, it's not consistent enough for me, right? So this is really, to me, just a Tampa 2 or a cover 2 beating play. And I think this is a good concept to have in the bag, again, when you're going to expect a high volume of cover 2 in specific situations. All right, so that's it. I'll leave it at that. I mean, there's a lot of different, you know what? We can look at some stuff here. I like to run stuff where, we have something to beat cover 4, double middle of field open defenses on this side. But if we get single high, we can beat single high on this side. If we have this problem, we have something to throw over here, right? I like to have a whole bunch of different options, but there are times where you run into players who only play cover 2 or they play 90% cover 2, right? Then it's good to just run a play like that to where it's not great against a lot of different coverages, but it's excellent against this one coverage or a handful of coverages that your opponent will most likely run. And that's where you may want to run something like that, right? And, that goes for cover 3. You may have specific cover 3 beaters, specific cover 4 beaters, specific 2-man beaters. And it's good to have those in the bag, right? We can look at some stuff. This is another play here, right? Looking at this, what do you think? This is probably designed to attack. And right away, I can say cover 2 again, right? Because we have that middle backer, second defender in, corner, and safety, right? Safety's putting a bind here. Corner's going to ride up here, right? And we're putting this middle defender, if you decide to ride up the hole to get in the window of this throw, then we can just dump it off underneath, right? Because he's going to relate to the number 3. So he's going to relate to the passing strength of the formation. And when he turns this way, if he decides to jump this route, then the window for this throw should be wide open inside, because the safety is going to hinge over, be forced to honor the threat of the corner, so he can't hinge too far inside. And then we're holding the backside safety with this corner route, right? So if that middle player decides to drive on this underneath spot route by the number 3, you have a potential bomb to attack against cover 2. You can go and check this play out. I won't draw it up in this video, but you know, it's just an example of just looking at particular plays here and thinking about what it's probably designed to attack. Here's another idea where I went over this play, right, where we're running line on one side, stick on this side, where you try to layer your concepts together where they kind of look the same, right? So we're running stick over here, but how about we run something like stick nod? Stick and nod is what they call it here, where we make it look like we're running stick, right? Because we've ran this a couple of times in game. So, you know, off the release of the ball, he stems outside as if he's going to the flat, right? Same here. This guy is going up the field and he's going to turn as if he's running the out or the stick. And then we turn it into double moves where he's actually not going to the flap. He's turning back inside, and he's actually not going to stick or run it out. He's actually going to turn it into a post route, right? Where you layer, and then he's still running the must outside release go pattern, where you layer your stuff to where they look the same, or you layer your stuff in a way to where, you know, we can attack a plethora of different coverages with different concepts, right? And obviously on the backside, we're running the Ohio concept. So I'll leave it at that. This video really was to just give you an insight on the sucker concept, something utilized to attack cover 2. It's, you know, it's something I haven't went over in previous videos because I like to go over concepts that are good against a lot of different things. But I still think that this was worthy of a video to drop because I, you know, kind of can jump into when you want to have a full field concept to attack a specific coverage for a particular reason. So I'll leave it at that. Hope you got something from this video, guys. Hope you keep coming back for more, man. Peace.